Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brankus Creations, and thank you to everyone for joining my stream. I feel like I'm a little bit out of centre there. There we go. Just for all the OCD people there, got to be centred in frame. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you to everyone who has joined. It is a lovely Saturday here at the moment, about 11 in the AM, and the weather is absolutely beautiful. And considering it was stinking hot yesterday, I'm pretty pleased about that because I don't like working in this particular outdoor, let's call it a workshop, let's call it a shed, let's call it a studio. I don't particularly like working here in stinking hot weather. So a quick little hello to the folks. Hello to Trina. Hello to Drake9800. Hello Michael Mullet. Hello Regzu89. Hello House of Moth. Hello Jay. Hello... let's keep moving down, keep moving down. Thomas Armstrong, hello. Lazy Jones, Scarlet Swordfish, Hernhafen, hello from Spain, hello right back. Apple Museum Inomanzing, hello. Dana is here. Who else have we got? Divisions, Crazy Tech Reviews. Okay, so I think I've said hello to everyone in that chat there. If I missed anyone, please don't take it personally. It's just I was kind of skimming it there. Nice shirt by Quinton. So I'm shopping for Mopar parts at the moment. Well, how about that? What sort of Mopar have you got there, sir? I'm pleased to hear that. Go Chrysler. Antonio Rivera, hello. Ventus, hello. Just a little follow-up, a quick little recap on the recap. Last week I did a live stream and I was working on a Macintosh SE and a mini scribe 20 megabyte hard drive, and we managed to get that mini scribe working. For how long, I don't know. 1995 Dodge Ram. That's a big unit, that thing. And then I had an SE logic board, which is giving me weird sort of artifacts on the screen. It wasn't chiming. We found a few cruddy looking traces on there. We cleaned them up. We took the RAM slot off. We cleaned under that. Since then, I actually took the PDS slot off as well, which was a fun old job. Wouldn't want to do it without one of these little mechanical suckery things. So I did that. Still didn't work. And then I took the ROMs out, put the ROMs back in again. Got a slightly different weirdness happening on the screen, which I didn't really pay too much attention to. But thankfully, I was doing this work while Skyping with Jay from House of Moth. And he did say to me, well, you know, the fact that you're getting a different result when you reseat these ROMs, maybe there's an issue with the ROMs. And I went, yeah, probably not. But anyhow, after doing a whole bunch of stuff, cleaning, we went through the ultrasonic cleaner. I, sort of went through and tidied up a whole bunch of stuff. I decided on a whim to swap out the ROMs as per Jay's suggestion, and sure enough, that was it. Bad ROMs. Swapped over the ROMs from my spare SE board. So if anyone needs any spare SE ROMs, sorry, I don't have any anymore. And so that SE is now working beautifully, so that was quite good. I never managed to get the SCSI to SD working in it, but I don't think that was the fault of the SCSI to SD. I was trying to get it to work with my SE logic board, and I think my SE logic board is a little bit bad. So anyhow, just going to quickly check here, make sure there isn't anything really important. Only 4 p.m. and I need another pot of coffee. That's fair enough by my books. So I am streaming a little bit earlier today, and one of the reasons for that is that I have got someone popping into that I'm swapping over a laptop battery for them. So, and I need to be all done and dusted by then. So I wanted to make sure I had enough time to do a reasonable length live stream. So anyhow, this live stream is going to be focused on a Macintosh LC 550. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this one. This is someone in the US, I should mention. This board has come all the way from California. He basically had to go at recapping himself. He did some damage, which is fine. I really don't criticize anyone for having a crack at this. I guess my main issue is don't have a crack on things that are important to you if you're trying for the first time. If you're going to practice this stuff, do practice on something that's not important. So anyhow, this person had to go at recapping it. They did some trace damage. I tried to help them with that trace damage. And they had to go in, and they just basically ended up giving up and saying, look, I'm going to send it to you. So fair enough. So they've sent it to me, and it has arrived. And I'm just going to go onto the side camera here, which should be a little less color casty than it usually is. I have been twiddling with some settings, and I feel like the color is a little bit more natural. A little bit more natural than it used to be. We've got this microphone in the way. Get out of the way, microphone. How about we do that? I'm too zoomed in now. I have to zoom out. Okay, so the big problem I have with this, I've punched up the saturation on this, so this is coming out a little bit unnaturally green. It's not quite as green as that. But the big problem with this is that, okay, so we've got some damage down here. I can see that. We've got some meltage around here. Fair enough. But the big problem I see with this is there is really quite nasty corrosion all over the board. So while he's doing the recapping and saying, oh, it doesn't work, I really am not sure that the problem with the caps are going to be the issue with this board. This board is just in a really terrible state. Now, I want to apologize to everyone for my clickbait description of this thing. I'm not sure that this has actually come from hell, because that makes it sound like California is hell. And maybe to some people, but certainly not to me. But it is in a really bad state. So anyhow, I'm going to jump across to the microscope. We're going to have a little look at this. So let me just scroll down here. Mystery Margot, hello, and Aim Lapierre. I'm not sure if I got that right, but sorry, my pronunciation's not very good. Okay, hell is Michigan. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I think that's a little bit topical, isn't it? Now, Garth Beagle, hello from California. Hello right back, and hello Garth. Thank you for joining. Now, so I need to just bring it up my repairs thingy. Oh, where's all my bookmarks? Unfortunately, I'm using, what is this? This computer that I'm live streaming from is on El Capitan, and it doesn't seem to synchronize any of my Safari bookmarks with all my more modern operating systems. So I'm just going to log into this little console here so I can get the job number for this one, and it is job number 85. I'm really, really loaded up with recapping work at the moment. If anyone who has sent me a recapping request recently is thinking, why haven't you replied? It's just because of time constraints at the moment. And of course, for anyone who's been sort of following any of my Facebooky type stuff, I'm also becoming the Australian reseller of SCSI2SD products. So that's just been eating into my time, because that's just what I needed, more time. Hell is in Michigan. It's a city in Michigan. Oh, well, how about that? I did not know that. Anyhow, where was I? Okay, well, I always need to remember to turn on my fume extractor, because I have one now, and I keep forgetting to switch it on. So yeah, I've got an online store now. Obviously, it's really of only relevance to Australian people, because if you are in the US, you can buy a SCSI2SD from Code Source. There's no way you're going to get it cheaper from me. The whole purpose of setting up an Australian store is because Australian customers that are wanting to buy, not Code Source, Inertial Computing, customers that are wanting to buy SCSI2SDs in Australia, the creator of the SCSI2SD is an Australian, Michael McMaster. He does have a store called Code Source, but it is pretty much perpetually out of stock. He's really not particularly interested in the retail side of the business. He's obviously the one who created the SCSI2SD, and that's obviously something that you know is an amazing piece of work. But he's not really interested in the kind of manufacture and resale of them. And I was just getting so frustrated with how expensive they were. So when I had the opportunity to become the Australian reseller of SCSI 2SDs, I thought, I've really got to put my money where my mouth is. I can't whinge about these things not being available out here and then pass up the opportunity to actually sell them. So anyhow, so yeah, anyone who is in Australia and is looking at buying SCSI 2SDs, although at the moment stocks are very limited here, they are going to improve. This better be a boring stream. Yeah, I'll do what I can for you, Jay, so because Jay's not able to be here. I've got two 5.2 SCSI 2SDs coming. Awesome. Yes, the 5.2 unfortunately is still being made. I think they're expecting delivery 25th November at Inertial Computing, something around about then. Of course, then they have to send them out. So they've got a very large amount being made, so you know they should be able to satisfy all the demand there. And of course, some of those will make their way out here, and I will sell them to Australians. And of course, the other really important thing is that in the meantime, I've also been I've also been making SCSI 2SD version 4.2s, and there is a video coming out. So, can you use SCSI 2SD as a boot drive? Absolutely you can. What you have to remember about the SCSI 2SD, it is essentially a hard drive emulator. Once it is done, you know, there and with its system on it and everything, it functions like a SCSI hard drive. It has the added advantage that it works with an SD card. It has the added advantage you can take that SD card out and pop it into a computer and read it, a modern computer and read it. But the point is that it is like a hard drive. So it will do everything that a hard drive can do and more. So, yeah, sorry, it wasn't a ghost. There's a sound is bouncing around in this shed, and it makes it sound like there is a hissing sound coming from behind me here. But it's actually just my fume extractor, and the sound is just bouncing off something here, and so that's what it is. So no ghosts. What else? Yeah, so anyhow, the SCSI 2SD version 4.2 is the last that was made under the GPL license by Michael McMaster, which means that all of the information about making them and building them yourself is available, and I have done that, and I am in the process of making a video on that process. It should come out fairly soon. I've already started filming it. Got a little bit more to film. Couldn't possibly be a snake. No, we don't get a lot of snakes around here. Lots of spiders. We don't get a lot in the way of snakes. It's not to say they wouldn't be around here, but it's not really a snake area. It's too suburban. Right. So anyhow, that's everything about SCSI 2SDs. If anyone ever has any questions about SCSI 2SDs, please ask me, because by crikey, I've been doing a lot about SCSI 2SDs lately. Right, so, well, time to start having a look at this. Okay, let's get this. What's this? What's that? Why? How come? There we go. Nope, other way. There we go. Just need to get a little bit of clearance here. Otherwise, I'm going to bang the screen with the microscope. Right, so, let's jump across to the microscope view and see what we can see. Well, we can see a lot of blurriness. Let's sort that out. There we go. That looks a bit crisper. Now I need to twiddle my knobs in order so that I'm in focus as well. Right. Now, here's a few things that are pretty alarming to start off with. You can see we've got some pretty horrendous corrosion going on here on the pins coming out of the ROMs. I probably have some spare ROMs if needed. I've got a nice little bit of trace wire hanging out here. It's evidence that someone has been repairing traces. How'd you come? Oh God, what's wrong with these tweezers? Not using those. Rubbish. These ones are a little bit better. Right, they do need to clean though. A lot of cap juice. Well, I think we've got a combination of things here. We've got just overall corrosion being caused just from bad storage. I think this has probably been stored in a moist area. And I think the other problem we have here is that we've got a lot of flux on here left over from this person doing their recapping. So I think of what a lot of what you're seeing here is probably is flux. Now I'm going to do what I can to try and tidy up some of the meltage here. But I guess from my perspective, it means that I don't need to be super careful with the recapping. Once again, we are not here to make judgments. That's not good. We're not here to make judgments about the work that people do when they're first starting out, because everyone has got to start somewhere. Yes, we can look at this and we can go, oh, what a mess. But you know what? You know, that's just what happens. You start off and you make a mess, and then you get better at it as you go. So I just, this is so going to need an ultrasonic clean. Look at this. Now, what? Ooh, and that's not good either. That is going to hinder this computer's ability to function. The fact that we have things like that going on. What is that solder patch? That is when the person was recapping it, they damaged a pad, and when they were trying to repair it, they ended up getting a lot of solder on there. So ultimately, what became fairly clear is this person was actually asking me for assistance, and I was trying to assist them as best as I could. But what became fairly clear was that at the end of the day, this person really didn't have the skills to do the sort of work that they needed to do in order to get it working. And so I, you know, although I didn't actually say just send it to me, eventually this person turned around and said, look, you know, I think this is beyond what I can do, so I'm just going to send it to you. I was like, yep, no worries. I'm fine with that. Now, yeah, rust. Not our friend. I don't like it. Don't like it. So where I really worry about these boards, particularly the what do you call it? This one is so this is an LC550, sometimes also known as a Color Classic 2. The difference with an LC550 is it lives inside a big case like an LC580, 575, that sort of thing. But the board is very similar to the Color Classic 2. Now we got some ugly looking traces here. And we've got some ugly looking vias. Mind you, the vias don't look as bad as I thought they were going to. Here's a really funny thing, and I don't know why, but so many of these 550 and Color Classic 2 boards that come to me are in a real mess. And I just don't know why. What is it about the 550 and the... I mean, I don't think there's anything different about the board. I don't think it's more susceptible to corrosion or anything like that. But every time I get these, they're always in a really shocking state. I don't know what to do with this one. I mean, look. I mean, I think we got copper underneath here. There's some ugly. That's our sound chip. Got spares of those, so if that one's cactus, I'm alright. Right, so here's a little test for anyone who's watched any of my live streams before, or watched quite a few. Whenever someone recaps their own board and sends it to me to try and fix, what's the first thing I do? I haven't talked about it that much, so if you get it, I'll be impressed. Because I don't do that many recappings, but whenever someone sends me a board that's been recapped and doesn't work, what's the first thing I do? Oh yes, please smash that like button. Hey, what's up, guys? Okay. This side's not looking too bad. Main thing I'm looking for when I'm looking on the other side of the board is I'm looking for components that have fallen off. When people recap these themselves, sometimes they get a little bit heavy-handed and they knock components off without realizing it. Oh, that looks nasty. What's going on up here? Oh, not too bad. Check all the caps line up. It's even more kind of what's the word, drastic than that. I actually whip all the caps off, and I do the whole thing again. when someone else recaps, I can't really vouch for the job that they do, so ultimately I have to whip them off. As you can see, there's no component here, but there's not meant to be a component here. There are a couple of ways I can tell that. First of all, we've got lovely little mounds of solder here rather than little torn off bits. And the other is that we've got adhesive here. There's the component adhesive, and it's still a mound. It hasn't been squished down. If this was torn off, you would find a little circle of component adhesive squished down underneath there. So it looks like all the components are here on the back. Nothing missing, so that's good. That's just our normal checking process. Keep everybody happy, yes? Everybody happy. So it is a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a waste of caps. Hello, Michael Weir. How are you today? Without sockets. I sent the SE30 board I recapped. I sent the SE30 board I recapped. Realised I could not test it without sockets. I'm not quite sure what that means. Yeah, make sure they use the right caps. I mean, really, the main thing I need to do here is just whip off all the caps they put on. And it does seem terribly wasteful to be going in and doing that. But, you know, I've got to check these things. I've got to check under all this stuff. And so I've got to take them off. So first we're going to take off these ones here. They're a little bit of a mess. Which way? That way. So now we got this here. Just going to jump across here and have a quick little squeeze. Oh, 45 people were watching. Hello, 45 people. Of those 45 people, please feel free to say hello if you want to say hello. I'm always happy to say hello to folks. Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens with this thing. I'll turn on my hot air station. All right. Didn't take much to get that off. Oh, there's a funny smell. I'm guessing, whatever he's using is Flux. It smells different to the Flux I use. It's quite a stinky Flux. Stinky! Punge, yeah, that's definitely Punge. Patrick M, hello from Germany. Hello right back at you. Thank you very much for joining. So I have been busily making and installing SCSI 2SDs in my vintage Macs. I basically came about, I really needed, I've got so many vintage Macs and I wanted SCSI 2SDs in all of them. Oh God, that smells. I wanted SCSI 2SDs in all of them, and so that was why I started making my own with the SCSI 2SD version 4.2. And so I've been, busily busting out the 4.2s and installing them, and I've got. Last night I installed one in my 2CX, which I decided just after watching one of Steve Mac 84, who can't be here today because he's out getting freebies. He fired up a 2CI the other day with System 6 on it, and it just flew, absolutely flew. And I thought, I want to get in on that. So I installed System 6.08 on my 2CX, and sure enough, the thing flies. It doesn't run too well under multi-fighter. I'm not sure why. I've got to figure that out. It's only got 8 megs of RAM in it. I'd like to stick more in, but 8 megabytes of RAM should be reasonable for System 6. Well, it should be ample, really. Let's face it. And of course, I fired up Quark Express version 3 on it under System 6, and I just got it massive flashbacks from back in the days when I used to use Quark Express for a living. And then, of course, still quite amazed at how incredibly capable Quark Express version 3 is on a computer of that age. Retro Redrum, hello. Redrum. What liquid flux are you using? Joe's Computer Museum. I'm using the old Amtech Flux, Amtech NC59V2TF. There are links to it in the description. I do prefer to use this one over other sorts. There are other sorts that I do use. I've got them floating around here somewhere if I'm desperate. But I much prefer to use the Amtech. I've got some. Is this the one? Who's this from? IF80 something. IF8300. Yeah, IF8300. Whoever makes this one. Interflux IF8300. Don't mind that one as well. And I don't particularly mind the old. What is it? MG Chemicals. The type has just come off. It's come off. I can't read it. But anyhow, I prefer to use the Amtech mainly because I just feel it doesn't smell too bad and it doesn't burn away too quickly. It really does a fantastic job. It's probably overkill for this sort of work. It's something that I it's probably more for like BGA work, ball grid array work, that sort of stuff. But I still love using it. All right, so let's have a look. Looking for something to fix my SE30 in the US. Any recommendations? Well, what is wrong with it? Someone to fix it. What is wrong with it? Can you tell me? Okay. Right. Mac 84. Okay. Yeah. Asked him. He said he's a bit backed up. Well, he needs to maybe get into some laxatives. So he what is a good model to look at as a starting point? Okay, Jamie, that's a big old question. Ohio represent. We've got a few Ohio people here. Sounds of thing. So I'm supposed to be low end Mac. But yeah, Dana's made a very good suggestion there. So the SE30, someone before me trying to cut the SIM socket off. I removed it, but can see the traces. Oh, okay. Do you want to send it to me? Okay, cool. G'day, Authentic Aussie. G'day, mate. How's it going? All right? Yeah, good, thanks. Stuck in China with the travel bans. Oh, well. As soon as I had the Miller, I'll send my 2 Mac Plus boards. Yep, no worries. I mean, happy to have a look at them. I probably only need the analog board. It looked to me like your logic board was okay, Michael, but yeah. So I can't. There was someone that I used to recommend people go to in the US, and then he contacted me and said, "I don't want to do this anymore." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I won't recommend you anymore then." So I've got to sort out a few holes here. So here are the issues that we have here as it stands. We've got a break in the trace here. So I'm going to run a wire through this hole and across there. This one here is not too bad. I'm just going to get rid of that little piece. We don't need that. This one here, basically, one side of the cap links to that. The other side of the cap links to Shivers. What is going on here? Is that just a ball of solder? What is that? Wow. Okay. So this joins to that. This joins to something else. Hang on. Let me just bring up my pretty picture. Oh boy, chat going crazy. Gino Brand 05, hello. Else, probably the question, who was asking the question about which vintage Mac to buy? One of the pizza box Macs is probably the way to go. It also depends a lot on what you want to do with it. You know, you can go with a classic Mac like a Macintosh Classic or a Classic 2 or something like that. But one of the problems with those is they're black and white, 512 by 384. That's fine for certain things if you're wanting to get into what those computers can do. But let's just say, for example, you, I don't know, want to play Wolfenstein 3D or something like that. Well, you're going to need something with more oomph. You're going to need probably a 68040 at the least. So it does depend a lot on what you want to do with it, what you have in mind to do with it, and that will then dictate which model I would probably recommend. So, okay, cool, excellent. Found some slots on it. Love Quadra 650 if you can find one. Yep, I like them too. Nice solid metal case. Can this thing be fixed? Who knows? So let's. The only thing wrong with the LC475 to REGZ0089 is that they are one of the ones that have the really brittle plastic on them. So you are likely that if you're going to find one, you're likely to end up with one that has breakage. So I'm going to look up my Color Classic 2 here, even though this is a 550. It's exactly the same recapping guide. And let's just see if we can have a little bit of a close-up here. I'm going to put this into preview so I can zoom into it and see if I can see. I may have to go up to... Actually, I've got another one of these here. I've got one here I'm working on at the moment, so I don't need a picture. I can look at a real one. Wherever it is. There it is. Don't save. Getting up, getting up. Ouch. Now, is that it? Yeah, this is it. No, it's not. That is not it. Where is it? Up here, up here. Ah, here it is. Alright, so let's have a look at a good board and see what we can see with our elven eyes. Incidentally, look how clean this one is and it doesn't work. What chances do you think we got with the other one? Crikey. Oh, this one does work, it just has no sound. Right, so we got a hole there, which I can't find. Right, okay. There's a hole there and a hole there. That's all to the ground, going through to the other side of the board. But then we've got this little one in the middle. Where's that one gone? Where? I mean, is that it there? Is it? Let's see what we can see. If I miss any of the chat, it's going pretty hard and fast at the moment, so I might miss something. So if you have something important you want to tell me or ask me or something like that, just do the little @Ranker's Creations so that it stands out. And of course, always that reminder that if you really want my attention big time, super chat. So I think this is probably the copper via, and it's been minced, shredded. I got my Quadra 700 to Death Chime. Awesome. I think awesome. So would you recommend a Mac 2 with Max new bus card, or should I go more? Also, would you recommend Mac 2 with Max new bus card? Well, I can tell you something here. I was playing Wolfenstein 3D under System 7.1 on a Quadra 660 AV the other day. And the gameplay was pretty jerky unless I was on the smaller screen size, you know, like 380 by something, tiny little squares. So just a warning that you're probably going to want a reasonably spec'd up 68040 or... Oh, super chat. Thank you, Dana. Much appreciated. Okay, so I've got to find where this trace goes through on the other side. Oy. It's one of those. I might have to check on the other board. From Magic Smoke out to Death Chime. I guess that's definitely a positive step, isn't it? So what have we got here? When I'm trying to find holes on the other side, I look at the pattern, and then I try and find the pattern on reverse on the other side. So if we look at this pattern, we've got one here, then a bit of a gap, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and these ones kind of make a little bit of a pattern here. So we'll spin them over, and we're going to look for that 5 in a row with the one a little bit higher. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a higher one. So these are the guys here. Zippity doo dah. Now there is something I noticed. They're the ground ones, so it's got to be this one here that we want. So let's jump across this board, and that is this one here. Oh, someone's had a go at poking through. Let's see if I can finish the job. Yeah, now what I know, or what I happen to know about this is this particular little, whoopsie, oh, I dropped it. This particular little via goes to one of the middle layers. So worst comes to the worst, I'm going to have to run one hell of a long trace wire, bodge wire, thing wire. Jamie Olmsted. Hello, I'm walking through crippling Amiga addiction, but I need to keep an eye out for the next classic collectible. Well, I have actually got 2 Amiga 1200s here for recapping at the moment. If this thing wasn't here, that's exactly what I would be doing today. I'm going to make a bit of noise here. I'm going to grab... this is a needle. Just your average, everyday garden variety needle. Well, it's not actually, because I've messed it up a little bit, but anyhow. Then I'm going to get myself a Dremel. You can't see that, I know. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Bruce, you've gone mad. That's what you're thinking. What the hell are you doing? Why are you playing with needles? Well, it's because I'm trying to make a little thing that is narrow enough to push through the UV mask in this hole. Now, the big problem I have here is that the hole is plugged at the other side from solder and essentially what I think is minced copper. Just going to put some new solder on this, some fresh solder, and then I'm going to wick it off and see if I can figure out what's going on here. This is really messed up. Oh, whoopsie. Why is there a lump here? Why? I don't know, am I just going to have to try and use brute force on this thing? Maybe try and cut the top off this via? I'm really playing it by ear here. I mean, this is not like, oh, welcome to Bruce's guide on how to fix problems like this. I have no idea. Yeah, okay, there we go. There's the copper. Okay, so let's see if I can force it through from the other side and maybe bring that back, and then we'll just have to test to see if we've got continuity on it. But we've certainly made this difficult for me. Oh, look at it, all this stuff coming through. Oh, wow. That's part of the via folding back on itself. So, I have a hammer for this purpose. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but my fume extractor is absolutely nowhere near where I'm soldering. It's like you tried running a bodge wire inside that hole and it broke off. It does look like that, doesn't it? Not quite through yet. Because I have to be very mindful of breaking things off in this as well. I feel like we're nearly there. What's it look like from the other side? Just thick enough to go through the whole board? Should. Okay. Typically, electronics and hammers don't mix. But, you know, some days. This is bending. This is bending. Of course, if it breaks in there, I'll be very upset. Whoa. That's me. Where are my goggles? I need my goggles. Goggles! There they are, they're up here. Back in a second. I mean, I'm not going far. Just travelling over here. Grab my goggles. Goggles. Alright. Lost it. Here we are. Oh, what are we going to see on the other side here? Come on. Come on. I think I'm going to have to... why do you need this? Oh, okay, hang on. That's not a question for me. Would a power Macintosh 5200 through 5500 be good for it, or should I go a bit more? I'm not particularly good on the 5000 series, to be honest. We need Steve from Mac 84 here. He's very good at identifying all those. He'd be particularly good. Or what about you, Dana? Dana, do you want to answer some questions about what's a good starting vintage Mac? You've got a hell of a collection. So I've just made this a tiny bit longer. The risk I run with this each time I do this is I might end up making it the size that it gets stuck in there. But I've got it to quite a fine point, so I'm hoping that that might help me push through the other side. I don't recommend doing this, what I'm doing at the moment. It's not like I say, hey man, this is what you need to do, man. No. Desperate times. Come on. I don't want to snap it. I think it's still intact. Crap, still hasn't gone through. Crikey! And I feel like we should be close. What's going on, man? I don't know what to do here. Whoa. This is quite something else. I feel like this whole thing has been folded down sideways. Where the other side of this should be is here, the end of my scalpel, but it's down here. So I feel like this whole via is being pushed down, which isn't helping. Okay. King of do as I say, not as I do. That's right. Well, put it this way. I have certain things that I do recommend. I would say, hey, in this instance, go and do that. With what I'm dealing with here, I'm just winging it. I mean, I've got no idea if this is going to work. And I just feel like any moment this thing could snap. Did that do what I think it might have done? I feel like it might have just pushed a little bit of copper up. Where am I? Here I am. Yeah, look at that. It did. It did, indeed. I think I possibly pushed the whole freaking thing through. So I don't know if I've still got continuity there, but let's see if we can do something. Yeah, that's the via coming out. Ray! Crap. Out she goes. Hello, Mr. Via. I'd like to thank you for completely stuffing up my repair job. So, now we have a real challenge on our hands. At least the hole goes through now. Michael Kirshner, hello. Right. Alright. Hello from Vienna. Hello right back. Right, so here's the problem we have now. We basically have a situation here where we've got this. Now this is a via without a via. We've got the cap on the top, nothing else. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to trace this on a good board, figure out where it goes, and then we will... No sound chip on this. I'm sure that's deliberate. Probably in the middle of fixing it. Right. So, we're going from there, and it goes up to one of the pins on the sound chip, if I remember rightly. So I'm going to get my beepity beep beep machine, set it on beepity beep beep, try and get it reasonably close to the microphone. What if I put it on the microphone where you'd be able to hear it? I need to rig something up so you can hear it better, because it just doesn't cut through the microphone terribly well. All right. So that one there, and it's going to heaps. It's not a ground, is it? No, it's not a ground. But it might be. QAS. It's going to lots of things here, which I don't like. That always scares me. It's even going to the CPU. So what the blazes is going on here? No. 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 No, 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 no. What is going on with this thing? It just seems to ping to just about everything. It's not right. I don't have a schematic for this one, but let's see what I do have a schematic for that might be similar, because a lot of these boards are fairly similar. Certainly in this part anyway. Geez, it's getting warm in here. It's temperature outside. Well, it's only 24. It's not ground. I know it's bit everywhere. You'd think it's ground, but it's not. The way I was able to check that is you can just tap on anything sort of metal here. Oh, there we go. So for example, I move this out of the way. So if I was checking for ground, I'd put that there, and oh, it is ground. Where is it? No, it's not. No, it's not ground. So I would check on these things here, all these metal parts, all these these shields on the outside of the SCSI port. They're ground. If I go on the other side, nope. What about there? Yeah. It's got to be ground here somewhere. Yeah. I feel like this particular board is. What about there? Okay, there's one. Nope. Yep, there's one. So the back of this capacitor is C1 going to there. JJ Brubaker, hello. Boy, I'm getting hot. I am seriously considering buying an air conditioner for this particular workshop. A little portable one. I'll probably set it up there with the little ducty thing going out through there. I think it's the only place I can really put it. And yeah, try and cool this place down, because tomorrow it's going to be 37 degrees, and I was planning to come out and do some of this tomorrow. Now, 37 degrees in the Celsius, for those who use Celsius, which is everyone except for America, or the US. Yeah, if I were to, it's high 90s, I think, heading for tomorrow. Andrew, hello. Right, so what I need to do with this, I was getting a schematic. That's right. I was getting a schematic. So let's go to, I keep those all on Dropbox so that I can share them with all my different computers. Mac technical files. And where are we? Oh, no. Macintosh 68K schematics. Classic, Color Classic. Color Classic is the closest I've got. Now, the one advantage with the Color Classic is that it does use the same sound chip. So if I go to the audio signal processing, and I'm already on that page. Is that page 1, is it? No. Oh, I must have had it open in the background, page 11. And this does connect to 47 microfarad 16 volt caps. So where are we? You can't see what I'm looking at here, so I apologize for that. There we go, 47 microfarad 16 volts. They should meet in the middle. Do they? Let's just check the continuity on that. 33 ohms. That's not exactly. Oh, hang on. They're both facing the same way. So, hang on. Calm yourself down. So, there. Okay, it's not exactly the same on this one, unfortunately. But anyhow, we can trace it back to one of the pins on here. Oh, wow. Goodness me. Donation for the AC unit. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. That will help. I've got one in mind. I can't remember the name of the brand, but I went to the place that sells those things, and they had it like an ex demo unit out on there, and they were offering it for super cheap. So if it's still there, I might get that. Joe Green, hi Bruce. Mac SE power supply has a leaky cap in it. Well, time to recap. It's 2 degrees Celsius at the present time. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. That is not for me. So we're looking at, I think, well, let's do this. Let's do this. Go from there. Oh, hang on. Need beeps. $35 ohms. So that's not a direct connection. Open, open. That's 2 ohms. That's more like a direct connection. $35 ohms. 35. So even though it's beeping at the moment, it's not actually a direct link to all of these pins. There's 2 ohms to that one. What? Oh, excuse me. That's 23 ohms. Oh, come on. 24. Jeez, I'm glad I have this board. 2 ohms. 23 ohms. Alright, let's see what we can figure out here. Let's go back to one of these. Okay, so this one here, getting 2 ohms on that. And where's pin 1 on this thing? Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Pin 1's on the top. Oh, you're going to make me count all the way around. Hang on. Hang on. It's 2 ohms to pin 1. So what's pin 1 on this thing? Pin 1, 2, 5, 6, 15 are all largely the same. 1, 2, 5, 6, 15. So let's just have a look. 1, 2. Oh. See, I'm getting continuity across from pin. I'm getting 0 ohms from pin 1 to pin, what is it, 44. What's 44 do? 44. 44 is nowhere near it. I shouldn't be getting that. Oh, maybe. Or not. Crikey. This is a mess. Thank you very much. It does look like your board. You know why it looks like your board? Because it is your board. Your board is helping me trying to fix this problem, but the problem is that your board still has a problem. So when I'm actually doing this, I don't know if I'm actually getting accurate readings from this because I don't get any sound from your board. So it leaves us in quite a quandary. $24 ohms. 34. So the first thing I'm going to do with this board here, this is the ugly one, I'm going to... Come on. Come on. Right, so I can confirm. What? Right, we're finding some interesting stuff out here. Okay, well, on the bright side of things here, it's still attached to where it should be attached. So, so that's good. Unless I'm not looking at the right board. Yeah. So, C159, I'm getting this. So that's actually quite promising. So that suggests to me that I can just run a wire through here, and I don't need to do any other trace wires. I can run a wire through the via. But what it's also doing is it's showing that we might have some sort of short on this board. So we could be well on the way to solving this with this one that belongs to KW. So that's some doubly good news. All right, now we get down to the nitty-gritty stuff. So anyhow, thank you very much for the super chats, for the folks that are doing super chats. I'll have to come on here and say I need things more often. All right. Right. So it occurs to me that the reason why so many LCs are in such bad shape is they tend to be sold heavily to schools. Yes, that's probably it. My 550 has no sound too. Me too. Yeah, it's a very common problem. It is a really common problem, and because the reason is for that that you've got 4 surface mount electrolytic capacitors here which love to leak, and they live right around this guy here, which is a sound chip. And it's the reason why I have bought the world's supply of these sound chips. It's not really the world's supply, but I have a lot of these sound chips spare because they do tend to fail. I mean, after recapping, they still don't work. Right, let's get on to this. I've just spent too much time faffing around here. What time is it? 12 o'clock. Still got time. But what I need to do now is I need to start cleaning this stuff up, putting wires through, repairing traces, and generally making the world a better place. They're good. That don't look too crash hot. You can't see it. There we go. What if something happens to Australia? That's a good question. All the sound chips will be gone. The truth is, I just had this opportunity to grab them, and I just thought, well, there was a limited amount there. I thought, you know what, I may never be able to get those again, so I just bought what they had. And I was able to use them virtually straight away. Someone had a board here, and they were pretty sure the fault was with the sound chip. So they said, I said, look, I've got a spare sound chip. It was like, oh yeah, please have a go. Sure enough, put in the sound chip, bang, away she went, working beautifully. I have this constant conundrum when it comes to doing this work, is what to charge for things. As I've said many times in my live streams, there's a limit to what you can charge for this stuff based on the value of the computer. If you charge too much, people just aren't going to get the repair work done. But at the same time, when you're in a situation where you have something along the lines of, let's just say, something topical, you have an SE ROM sim sitting here as a spare, and it's the only one you have, and the only place you can get it from is from another SE. When you then put that in a computer, what do you charge for it? The sound chip, you can't really. The reason why I got the sound chip was it's a company that I guess they're involved in e-waste disposals, and they take off components. So when they get hold of boards, they take off old components, and I think they've been doing it for years. They take off old components and then they file them away. And yeah, that's where I managed to get the old sound chip from. So the sound the common problems with the sound chip are and typically it is usually broken traces, because I just said there I just replaced the sound chip. Yes, sometimes the sound chips do fail, but more commonly the problem is the broken traces. And so that's always the first thing I always check, make sure there aren't any broken traces around there. And then, of course, you check to make sure that information is actually going to the sound chip, and then see if it's coming out. So this one, I think, I need my little pokery-do thing again, because I need to get through this one here. So that's the one just above it. Now, what did I do with it? I moved it up here. Good. It's still with me. So that goes there. Then this one here, I need to poke through some UV solder mask. So all of these classic 2s and the color classic 2s and the color classic itself, they filled up all of the vias with UV mask, and so you have to poke it through if you want to then run trace wires through it or run bodge wires through it. So there's this one here. I just push it through from the other side. You can see there's my little bit of UV mask poking through. Pokey pokey. Right, so I see Steve has got his freebies, so I expect him to come onto the live stream any minute, or there'll be hell to pay. I want to try and get this bit of solder out. Oh, I was able to poke through it. Oh, this new tool that I just made is awesome. It's my new magic tool until I break it. Okay, so that one looks okay. I don't think we've got any issues. I don't think I need to do any repairs on this particular via here. I think we've got continuity there. It looks ugly, granted. So we've got to fix this guy. We've got to fix this guy. And we've got to fix this guy. My apologies for just automatically assuming that these traces are male. I don't know why I'm saying it's a guy. And then we'll just clean all this place up and try and fix it. Now, as I was saying, for anyone who is joining the stream recently, one of the real issues I have with this particular board is that it's got a lot of corrosion on it, a lot of really nasty corrosion. Oh, Steve is not going to get any more freebies. Oh, come on. Never believe Steve when he says that. Anyone who doesn't know who we're talking about, Steve, Mac84. Great channel, go and check it out. Awesome content. He's usually on these streams, but I accept that other people do have a life. That's fair enough. So I'm trying to find something. Where is it? I'm looking for that hole there, which would be that way. Oh, it's going to be under this chip, isn't it? It's under that. I've got to run a wire under this. Piffle. All right, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to whip it off, folks. Whip. Whip. Oh, I just heard a car door close. I think someone might be home. Do-do-do. Ya-la-la-da-da-da. Oh, come on. Come undone, you thing, you. It's got a component adhesive on it as well, so it's not helping. But I don't want to tear a pad, because that's not what I'm here for. Come off. Ay, caramba. Thank you. Boy, oh boy, that one was stuck on there. Goodbye. I hope I haven't killed that. That copped a lot of heat. A lot of heat. You know what would be really funny? I mean, not really, but, you know, what would be funny would be if the trace that I was trying to find wasn't actually under this component after all. But I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's that one. Live stream on Thursday for those of us who are not in the States, perhaps even on the Maciac channel. I may well do a live stream on Thursday, which is obviously my Friday morning. I may well do that. Definitely don't discount it. I certainly won't do it on the Maciac channel, only because I'm not a big fan of the idea of an individual member of the Maciac group doing their own streams on the Maciac channel, especially when the aforementioned has their own channel. But I may well live stream. I mean, if I consider the, or I may work. I've been very busy lately. There's been quite a lot of work on. So here's my all-purpose trace repair wire. Links to this stuff in the description. I have 3 different gauges of wire in the description. This is the 34 AWG. If anyone is wondering what AWG stands for, it stands for American Wire Gauge. So it's just some sort of arbitrary number that someone made up. So we have got some work to do here, but that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Except I have to do it properly, don't I? I have to go, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my live stream. Don't forget to smash that like button. Okay, now. There we go. Get some of this crud off. No. 11:26. 26 to the 11th for us. Okay, sorry, just checking up on all the what do you call this stuff? Chat. Yes. Okay. Just want to check on the viewer numbers here because I haven't been paying much attention to it. 58. Crikey. Hello to everyone. I think we even peaked at 60 at one stage there. Oh, a couple of stages there. And for those people who came and saw and left again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it wasn't up to scratch. I'll do better next time. The thing is that I get a lot of people subscribing to my channel because of my beginner's guide to soldering video. Now I am in the process of doing a follow-up to that, which is beginner's guide to soldering part 2, and but of course if someone has just subscribed to my channel because of that beginner's guide to soldering, and then they come and see me here playing around with a vintage Mac doing this sort of stuff, they might be like, what? But of course it is soldering. I am soldering, and I am trying to teach soldering methods and processes and stuff, and show ways of doing things and stuff and things and such. A little bit more flux on that, just to make sure it's super neat. There we go. Lovely. And then I was going to trim off this excess. And then I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to put some UV mask on it, because I want to put the chip back on, and I don't want that copper exposed. Well, toothbrush drop. Got a lot of Ohioians in the chat. Oh man, I've got this fume extractor and it's nowhere near where I'm working. I feel like such a fool. Yep, Dana's from Ohio. House of Moth, Jay is from Ohio. Must be something in the water there that makes people into this vintage Mac stuff. Geez, I have to tell you, I'm enjoying pulling out my vintage Macs and putting what do you call those things? SCSI 2SDs in them. I did a bench test too the other day, not trying to steal Ron's thunder, Ron from Ron's computing videos, who recently did a little benchmarking on the SCSI 2SD. One thing I found really interesting is that I was testing on a 660 AV, and the what do you call it? I tried a 1.2 gigabyte quantum fireball as the baseline. So, 1.2, well, actually it was 1 gigabyte quantum fireball. That's an old spinner hard drive, an old SCSI spinner hard drive. And it was in a lot of certainly the sequential read tests, it was faster than the SCSI 2SD. So just so that everyone knows, if you're thinking that SCSI 2SD is going to give you some massive speed boost in reading, it ain't gonna. That's for the version, we're talking about the version 3, 4.2, 5, 5.1, and certainly 5.5. 5.5 slower than all of them because of the way it's made. But yeah, so if anyone is out there thinking, oh, by the way, laser, pew pew. This is my UV laser, curing my UV solar mask. So it's just interesting to note that there isn't, it's not like you're going to see a massive speed increase. Now, where it does absolutely leave the old spinner quantum fireball hard drive for dead is on random reads, because obviously it doesn't have to move around, it doesn't have to move heads around. So the transfer is faster coming from the original SCSI hard drive, but when it comes to seeking data on the drive, the SCSI 2SD absolutely totally leaves it for dead. I did try it with two different speed SD cards. I had an SSD, I had a SanDisk Ultra, and then I tried a SanDisk Extreme. The Extreme is, I think, almost double the transfer speed. Again, it made virtually no difference. So we're not talking about limitations within the SD, I don't believe. We're talking about limitations with the SCSI 2SD itself. So all of that information will be coming out sooner rather than later. But just for anyone out there with SCSI 2SDs, just do keep in mind that they aren't a way of making your Mac necessarily go faster. They are a way of replacing your busted spinner hard drive that you can't buy new ones of. So just thought people might be interested to know that. Okay, so what we have here is the UV mask, and I can put this back. Greetings from Hell, Michigan. Well, I think this board might have come from Hell, Michigan. Hello, Brancus from Argentina. Hello, right back at you. Okay, so... SCSI is great. You're right, don't worry too much about the laser beam. Floppy Emu, however, is fast. Well, it's not really a fair test, because what are you generally using that Floppy Emu for? You're using it to replace something connected to the floppy drive. And anything connected to the floppy drive is going to go slow, even the old HD20. And what are you going to test it on? You're generally going to test it on what, an old compact Mac, like a 512K or a Mac Plus, or even maybe 2CI or something like that, something really old. Now, I can assure you that if you put the tests, if you tested them back to back, the speed, the SCSI 2SD and the floppy EMU would be giving you the same sort of speed improvements. It's mainly just that when you fire up a floppy EMU on a Mac Plus running System 6.08, it loads up and you go, oh wow, that's fast. But you're comparing it to an old, probably an old, what do they call it, HD20 or something like that. I will do a speed test because I can. I have the ability to do so. I have the tools and I have the talent. I don't know why I said that last bit. Yeah, I don't think the floppy EMU is any faster than the SCSI 2SD. I think it just appears that way. All right, let's get some flux onto here, and we'll get this lovely little chip back in place. And then we can start to feel like this board's going to start getting a bit normal. A bit. Not completely, but a bit. Let's squish all this stuff around. Squishy, squishy. Squish. Okay. Right, so when I put a chip like this onto a board, I generally just tack down 1 or 2 pins like that. Oh, didn't do it. Ding, tack. There's one. Let's tack one in on this side. You can't see that. Tack one on this side. Ding. There we go. And then we'll just do a bit of drag soldering. Drag, 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 drag. Drag. Drag, drag, drag. There we go. That one's back on the board. Hey, Bruce, just got home. Going to put my feet up and have a beer or 12. Sounds like a very good plan to me. A little bit early for that here for me, but having said that, I could still go that. I'm going out to dinner tonight, so I have to behave. Right, so we've got that one going through to the other side, and that one we will fix this little damagement here. That's not a word, damagement, but it sounds like it's a word, doesn't it? I just bridged all the pins together. It was a mess. My flux must be awful. Yeah, flux is the key to bridge soldering, I can tell you that. To drag soldering, bridge soldering. Alright, so but I have to tell you, there are some instances where drag soldering is your only answer. I mean, when you're putting down some chips, that have got loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of pins. But that is another thing I'll be doing in a video fairly soon. I'll be doing something like that with a bit of drag soldering, and I'll demonstrate all that. Alright, so that's that. Now, this one, what I would really like to be able to do is I'd like to be able to put some fat wire down there. We're a bit out of focus, aren't we? So good. Right. And the reason why I want to put fat wire down there is I'm looking for something that'll give me a little bit of stability. Will it go through? No, I don't think I can fit. I'll try it from this side. So I want to put this through there. Will it go? Bam. I don't think it's going to go. This poor little hole here. Been mistreated terribly. Oh, it's gone through. Yay! Alright. So, now we've got to try and make this join. It's going to be interesting. I'm just going to heat the bejesus out of it, get some solder on it. Creating a nice little bridge here, aren't I? I can smell the smell of the coating on the wire disappearing. I want to get another big dose of flux here, and some more heat. We're doing it. We're doing it. Come on. Well, it looks like it might be there. Is it stuck? It's stuck good? It's stuck good. Now, here's the test. That's not really a test, is it? Let me just scrape some of this coating off so I can do a quick little multimeter test. Get the machine, the beepity beep beep machine. Please check if the IC is inverted. The one that I put on. Are you talking about that one? We have got pin 1 there, and we've got the little dip there, and that's a little white dot there for pin 1. So you can't see it. There we go. Dot. Pin 1. Pin 1. So not inverted, but I do thank you for making me check, because these are the sorts of things that an extra pair of eyes is always good for. Or in the instance of today, the extra 58 pairs of eyes. Right, so what we want to do here... Oh, yeah, okay. Let's put this here so I can rest it on something. Oopsie. Rest it on something. And then we're just going to check and see if we were getting all those beepity beeps. Like pin 1. Yep, we're good. We're good. So there we go. There's that one, looking pretty good. So that's trace repair number 2. And then we've got number 3 here. This one's going to be the thin one again. Let's get some thin wire. That thick wire I used in the description of the video, it's the thicker of the 3, and I can't remember which one it is because there's no label on it. Oh, it says 0.31, but I think that's in millimeters. I don't think that's in AWG. Millimeters. Right, let's pop him through to the other side, and let's see what we will see on this side. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Right, so I'm going to pop this out again because I want to do a little bit of a scrapey scrape first. It's... oh, far out. There it is. It's there. So I'm attaching it to this here. So I'm just going to scrape away some of this trace so I've got something to attach it to. Like that. Get a bit of solder on it. Just like that. Right. Oh, I filled the hole in. What a silly person. Oh, come on. Oh, don't be a thing. Is it through? Is it through? Is it through? I don't think it's through. No, it's not through. Got solder in it. Okay, I can do a little trick here. I've done this trick before. I'm going to do it again. And that is when I can't be bothered getting the solder out of the hole, I just keep the solder molten while I poke the thing through. Like this. Ta-da! So then we will come to this side, check and make sure that we've got enough here. That's this one. Going across there. Out of focus. So why can't you just fill the vias with solder? Because I'm actually wanting to run a wire through them, so I don't want them filled with solder. I'm using the wire attached to the via as to give me a little bit of extra strength. That's mainly the thing. Rather than just sitting a wire on top of it, I want it to be attached. So just make for a stronger, more long-term repair. That's the plan. That's the theory. Now, I just want to cut little bits of this off here. There we go. Right, then we're going to put this down here. Now, once again, I don't ever want to discourage people from having a crack at these themselves, but this does highlight the importance of practicing on something you don't care about. Because what we're basically looking at here, all this repairing that I've been doing, everything that I've done so far has been in response to one capacitor replacement. Just one. And some of the other ones on this board aren't that bad, so I'm guessing that it was probably the first one they did. And as I say, you don't want to be practicing and getting good at these things on boards you care about. There we go. Okay, get rid of that little bit of excess. In excess. Everyone know that band? Yeah. Aussie band, yeah. Right. Warming up now. I mean, it's supposedly not that warm outside, but it's warm in here. Right, and this one here, we are going to just bend that down here. Let's get a little bit of extra onto there. Fluxy wuxy. Onto just a via with damage. Yeah, I could definitely do that. I could definitely just fill those ones with solder. But the thing here is that so on this one here that I'm looking at right now, there are 3 bits of damage. There's this one here, which is a damage trace, which I'm attaching into there. Then there's the other one, which is a damage trace. And then this one here with this humongous wire sticking out of it, that's actually because of a lifted pad. I'm putting that there to attach to the component. So that needs to actually be attached to the component. So that's why that one is there. Right, now, time for some cleaning. What is an ARS? Thank you very much to Christian Karasai for that super sticker thingy. I am afraid I don't know what an ARS is. But it sounds exotic, whatever it is. Yes, no, yes, you're exactly right in terms of my what is it, trace repair video that I have floating around on my YouTube channel. I do actually go into a lot of this stuff in that video. What I'm doing here. Now, the next thing I need to do, which is a really important part of this, I've got to get some UV mask on this before I put the component down, because there's just way too much exposed copper going on around here. So I need to get this reasonably clean with this wire poking out. I might get some go again. Get some of this. Let's just move this out of the way, move this out of the way, and move this out of the way. I've lost my keys again. This happens sometimes. Where's my spray? Oh, here it is. Get some of this spray here and try and clean. And then the next step is to get a tissue. Argentina peso. Okay, now I know. Thank you very much for that donation of Argentine pesos. I have no idea what the exchange rate is. So for all I know, you could have given me enough money to buy a coffee, or you could have given me enough money to buy a house. I have no idea. Right, so that there. But whatever amount it is, I say thank you very much. It is much appreciated, and I mean that most sincerely. All donations are greatly appreciated. They are, as of this live stream here, this was something that I discussed at the beginning of the stream, for anyone who missed it. All of today's donations are going to a new air conditioner for this workshop. Because it is getting so hot in this part of the world right now. It's way better than it was last year, though, I tell you. Last year was so hot, and it started so early in the year. We were getting really sticking hot days really early in the year. It's way more humid this year. Last year, when we had all the bushfires, it was very, very dry because we hadn't had any rain. But we've had quite a bit of rain this year, so the it's a lot more humid. We're not watching the microscope, are we? Sorry, guys. Microscope. So. It's like 25 cents. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, that won't be a coffee then. Maybe it will buy me a coffee capsule for my machine. How about that? For my little Nespresso machine, I'll be able to get a coffee capsule and make my own. Okay. Sorry I was doing all that stuff without you being able to see it. I feel like quite the fool. I'm going to be spreading this stuff on fairly liberally today. Well, that's gluggy blob. Glug, glug, glug. I'll probably paint some of this on again once. Oh, geez, I painted where I don't want it painted. What an idiot. What an idiot. To increase my chill. Thank you very much for that, Scarlett. I do appreciate that. I shall have to get on to more of your videos, Scarlett, and reciprocate. Send a super chat your way. Do you live stream on YouTube much? I think I've watched something of yours on Twitch or something like that at some stage. Whoopsie. Just going to clean some of this off here. I do need that copper there because that's where I'm actually going to attach my my cap. I'll attach it to there, and then the other side will go on there. I may end up needing to use some component adhesive for this. We'll see, or I might just stick it down with this stuff afterwards. This stuff does, of course, scrape off once I put it on. If I suddenly decide I don't want it here anymore, I can just get a little bit of the old scalpel and do a bit of a scrapey. Okay, excuse me. I am a little on the hungry side. This regularly happens to me when I'm live streaming, because I often don't have breakfast when I live stream. Boo, 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 boo. All right. Now, this typically goes against what I would normally do. I don't like doing too much of the of this kind of UV mask stuff before I know the thing's working. Because if I have to go back and investigate this. Garth, hello, thank you. Got to go. Great job as always. Post tomorrow whether you were able to get it going if you finish in time. Thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you very much for your sentiments. And we will remain hopeful. And one thing for sure about this board is it really needs a clean. It needs to have a little go in that ultrasonic, which is all fired up. Incidentally, I was having some more trouble with this ultrasonic. It's my fault. I ran the thing without the fan accidentally, and I melted a transformer. Now I have the transformer here, and I have some new wire. I'm going to rewrap it. But yeah, frustrating. I can still run this on 6 of the 8 transducers, so it still does clean. Oh, look at this. We've headed up to 200 of the pesos now. Thank you. Please don't feel like you're being guilted into giving me some more money. That was not my intention. All donations are welcome, regardless of what the amounts are. So it is the thought that counts. And for those obviously donating towards the air conditioner, then it's obviously the amount that counts, but that's irrelevant. It's, as I say, the super chat, super stickers are always appreciated. Okay. Oh, look at this, Dana. He's taking over the role of J House of Moth. Thank you very much for doing that. That's the Recapper Mac website where you find all the recapping guides. If you happen to have an LC550 and you're thinking, where's the recapping guide for the LC550? Well, it's exactly the same as the Color Classic 2. So the guide is anyway. So I will put a separate link on there one day, and you will also find there's a fancy store on there now. It's not really fancy, but anyway. Selling SCSI to SDs to Australians. And probably New Zealand soon too. Just got to figure out the tax situation there. Because they have a goods and services tax and we have a goods and services tax, and I've just got to figure out what to do. And I don't think I need to charge GST when I'm selling to New Zealand, because I won't be selling enough to warrant that. I don't think, but I don't know that. And I ain't no accountant. Oh, Thomas Armstrong, thank you very much for that. Wow, it's all coming in today. I'm telling you, this air conditioner is as good as here. The YouTube channel has actually been going really well, far better than I ever expected it would. You know, not wanting to sort of talk too much about obviously monetization, all that side of things, but I've got a lot of people watching the channel, in particular the stuff about soldering, which is great. And it's really gone up over the last sort of few months. I'm picking up about 1,100 subscribers per month, which I don't know how that compares to other people's channels, but certainly for me, that's quite good. So yeah, I'm quite happy. Right, well, I think we're going to get ready to stick a cap on this thing. So, doesn't that look beautiful? So, we've got to have, let's figure out where we're going to put this. I'm sticking tantalums on this. The person originally recapped it with electrolytics, but I want something more solid. I don't, you know, the electrolytics have little pins hanging off the bottom. I want something that's more robust. So we're going to do it with pants. Oops, I hope I'm not flashing too much of my backside. Okie dokie. So this one is a 47 microfarad 16 volt, like most of them on this board, I think. I think from memory, most of them are 47 microfarad 16. There's a couple of 100 6.3s, or is it 10 6.3? I can't remember. And then this little guy here, this one. 10 microfarad 16, 100 6.3s up here. So 100 6.3, 100 6.3, 10 16, and all the rest of 47 16s. Because I've done this before. So, when are you going to start selling shirts? It's a good question. I don't know what I would put on the shirt. Every time I say things, people say, oh, that'll make a good t-shirt. And I think, yeah, probably not. I mean, I could do like a smash that like button, something like that. Right, so here's what we have to figure out. Now, I'm not going to use component adhesive. There's one very good reason for that, and that is it takes a really long time to dry. So there. So this is going to be positioned really weirdly, but that doesn't matter. In my repairing damaged traces video, which I have mentioned a couple of times now because it all feels very similar to what I'm doing here today, I want to get some of this. I want to expose some copper here. I want a reasonably good mounting platform for this component. Something that will take over the role of the original pad, which is now gone. This is all just one big chunk of ground here. So we're all good there. Whoops, there we go. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this with... What is the main cause of corrosion? Is it bad caps or is it moisture? This one, this particular board, it's probably a combination of both, but I think moisture is the biggest enemy on this one. Most of the corrosion you see on here are in places that would not be impacted by the leaky caps. I mean, look at that. You would not be getting typically leaky cap corrosion on the ROM chips. So this looks more like moisture to me. So that's what I'd be thinking. All right, so let's get this attached onto this side first. So let's get some solder onto there. Get some flux. And do this. And I've got one of my eyes is out of focus. There we go. Why is one of my eyes out of focus? Because I need to twiddle this thing around. How are you guys going with focus? You're a bit out. There we go. And then I'll get me in focus. There we go. So I'm going to take that. I just put solder on. I'm taking it off again. And you think, why? It's because I just want I want it coated, but I don't want too much on there. So it's now coated. I now get my cap. I plonk him there. Plonkety plonk. I might just get a bit more flux on there. We're relying a lot on flux to help us out here today. Plonkety plonk. Kaplonk. Like that. And then I'm going to spin them around because I'm right-handed, so I want to... Oh, jeez, well, I'm going to have to do it that way, aren't I? Because I've got plastic everywhere. And... Okay. Picture of a bad cap on a t-shirt, yeah. I've actually kept a couple of really bad caps from a recent recapping, some electrolytic ones, because they're handy for testing with, you know, component testers and stuff to say, well, you know, what's this one going to show? It's like, oh, this one shows it's dead. Okay, good, it's working. All right, no thing of beauty, but it is stuck on quite firmly on one side. I want to move it. There we go. Right, so we're stuck down. Now we need to get a little bit more rigidity to it on the other side. As you can see, it's on reasonably strong, not super strong, but it's reasonably strong. So I'm going to get this wire now, and I'm going to do a little bit of bendy stuff with two tweezers. Two tweezers. How many? Two. Okay. Breaker's written on 8-bit bus green font. Yeah. Right. Now, we get Flux, like this. And this is going to take some melting, so we'll get a big bit of solder on there, and we're going to hold this in position, and we're just going to apply heat, solder, melt off the coating on that wire, just like that. Sorry, that's right off the edge of the camera there. How rude. And we're going to cut that. Snippety, snippety. Off she goes. And then we're reasonably good. I mean, that's going to need some UV mask afterwards once it's all cleaned to help that stay in position. But let's go and do some tests and make sure we're not creating all sorts of shorts and grounds and things and stuff. So, first of all, check between shorts between the two. No. That one should be going to ground. Let's check it on ground. I said, let's check it on ground. Come on. It should be the same as... Hang on. No, hang on. Where are we going? Let me just check something here. Okay. It is going to... It's going up to the sound chip, so that means it's going somewhere. Let's just check up here. Good. And then we'll do the little check from here. You can't see this from here to pin 1 of the sound chip. There we go. Yippee! Are you going to trim up that melted plastic? Don't get ahead of yourself there, Dana. Yes, I am. So, once again, this is one of the things I do to make melty plastic not look quite as bad. I take the stuff off that looks like lava. Like that. And as soon as you do that, immediately melties don't look quite as bad. And of course I do this. I particularly do this when I have accidentally melted things to cover my tracks. Yeah. Okay, that's good. A little bit of that. A bit of that. Doo-doo-doo. I did not get permission. to do all of this trimming of this plastic, but I'm doing it anyway. For all I know, the owner of this board might have wanted to keep it. You know, like, it's my work of art. I'll get this back and I'll go, what did you do? It's my work of art. And I'll be like, I made it better. Okay. Well, just looking at the time, I have been going now for 2 hours, and I have done one capacitor. One capacitor. The others should be a little bit quicker though. Now, I am actually going to do something a little bit interesting. Well, no, it's not really. I don't want to say that because it just sort of you get people all excited. It's going to be interesting, and then I just come out and say something that's not even remotely interesting. I am going to probably test this. I don't think it'll work, but I'm going to test it. Just in its current state. Once I get this cap on. I'll go around and have a quick look at the other caps they've done and see that I don't see anything really horrendously bad. Needless to say, I'm not going to be able to get this capacitor to line up with the other one because the other one is such a schmozzle. Yeah, capacitor, get in there. You go be the best you can be. 2 hours to do one cap. Yes, this is true. But I am hoping that the other ones will be a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker. Don't forget the broken component legs on that one piece. Broken component legs on that one piece. Broken component legs on that one piece. Broken component legs. I don't know what broken component legs we're talking about. I mean, I'm a bit... This is so messy. I don't normally stick things in the ultrasonic cleaner before I do work, but I really think this should go in the ultrasonic cleaner and then recap it. Ooh, look at that one! So this thing here is called the CUDA chip, and CUDA chips don't like it when there's a little solder ball wedged in between two pins. Let's just check and see whether that solder ball is actually creating a bridge between those two pins. I've seen a solder ball like this once before. When a board came to me from over the sea. Well, interesting, it's not actually creating a bridge, so still got to go. But and where does it go here? So that one's okay. 47, it's okay. It's okay. Solder balls. You saw it right at the beginning. So the trees are coming pristine in the original box, none of them power on. A little flash and nothing else, no leakage inside. I am not really sure about that. I am not particularly good with iMac G3s. I don't work on them because I don't have space for them. But what I can tell you about them is they are notorious for capacitor leakage, or capacitor failure, and that is most probably what it is. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like working on them, because in order to get to the capacitors, you've got to pull the things right apart and leave little pieces of plastic everywhere, and then of course you break half of it in the process, because that's just how it is with those old brittle plastics. And yeah, notoriously common problems with those G3 iMacs and having capacitor failure. And the reason for that is that they were made during that period when there were lots of really dodgy capacitors going on around the world. I don't remember what broken component leg you were referring to, Dana, and I'm really starting to freak out now, because I'm just ultra concerned that there's another problem with this I'm not aware of. Oh, that's a little bit of my little spiky tool before I refined it. This is a socket. Socket to me. Bent legs on a chip somewhere. Oh yes, I unbended them, so that's all good. That was on this the CPU, the 68030 33 megahertz 68. Just worth mentioning, some of these ones actually say 25 when they're meant to say 33. And we've talked about this. We've been largely conjecture that we have assumed that there were a bunch of 25s that Apple decided to put on an overclock. So, because these things can be overclocked, I believe. Or is it the 16 to 25? No, it's the 25, 33, because I think you can overclock these, I think. Christopher Bourne, hello. Oh, Steve is here. Welcome, sir. We were just speaking about you before, saying all sorts of wonderful things, but basically, at the end of the day, we were commenting that you had gone out to get some freebies, and we were saying that we thought you were not collecting freebies anymore. Oh, crap. We thought that was getting into way too much trouble. I haven't had a chance to look at our group messenger, so I don't know if you're happy with what you've come back with, or if you came back with some extras. But right, so we have done some repairs on this board. This is essentially what I've done here, Steve. It's taken me 2 hours to get to this point. It has not been an easy one. And I am inclined to just plug this in and see what it does. Now, I totally expect it to not work, but I just sort of feel compelled to check. So this was a customer that recapped this on their own. We've got some terrible corrosion on here, but we'll see. So, oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? Oh, I've got a bit of solder on the pins here. I'm going to remove that because that could make that pin get stuck when it's going in, and we don't want that. So let's just go. There we go. Nice. Let's check for more. Oh! Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go and get my... Oh, my pen keys don't work anymore. Side angle, side angle. There we go. Let's get this out of the way. Let's zoom out. And let's move that. Clear a little space here for me to stick a Color Classic board on the table. And we'll plug this in and we'll see if it chimes and does anything. 1 o'clock. Definitely getting hungry. I'm going to put that there. So I need to clear a spot. I might get this. Put this up here. Like that. Move this out of the way there. There we go. Got all this ample bench space here now. Ample. Right, back in a second. I'm not going far. I'm not even going to switch off my microphone. I'll do the back soon because I can talk to you the whole time. So I can say, hello there. I'm currently about to walk out of my workshop, and I am no longer in my workshop. I'm now standing outside on a beautiful day. And here is my Color Classic, which is a little bit on the grubby side. Oh, geez, it looks like, yeah, very grubby. Gotta sort something out there. Oh, oh, oh. Let me find a brush. My brush is gone. Brush. Here we go. I'll tell you what, I'll do it with my makeup brush. Oh, and that falls down. I'll go. There we go. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Oh, okay. So. Oh. Whoopsie. Right. Now, where are we going at the moment? We're sitting on currently 59 viewers. Wow. Getting close to that old 60. We broke through that 60 a little while ago, but I missed it. I'm glad people are helping out there with the old iMac issue, because iMac G3, because as I say, I'm no expert on that. Why aren't you coming off? That's more like it. Right, so this here is my Color Classic. It is in a state of flux at the moment because it has had, I'll try not to break it, it has had the Mystic mod done to it. I dropped something. I hope it wasn't important. It has had the Mystic mod done to it. And then I unmysticked it. But I haven't fixed up all the geometry on the screen since doing that. So now, I don't have any RAM in this. I better put some in. I'll grab it from the other board, which is over here. I hope he doesn't mind when I steal this from this board temporarily. I will put it back, of course, just for the purpose of testing. This is a 512 kilobyte VRAM sim. You can tell because it has the 4 chips on it rather than having 2 wider ones. Ron's Computer Videos, thank you very much. Another great stream. Were my ears burning earlier? Now, they were. I did talk about you. I said that I am in the process of doing a whole bunch of SCSI2SD benchmarks. And I said I'm not trying to steal your thunder, given that you have already done a benchmark video there, but it's actually part of what I'm doing with all the different types of SCSI2SD. So the one I don't have... The one I don't have, piffle, is the, I took the hard drive out of this the other day, so the hard drive cable's in here. The one I don't have is the version 6. So I've got, in terms of testing, what I've been testing, I've tested a 4.2, 5.0, 5.1, and I also tested with a slightly different speed SD card, and I tested up against a quantum spinner hard drive. So yeah, so I was just been doing some benchmarking, and that was why I mentioned. Let's plug this in. Why not? Now, once again, absolutely, if this works, I will be amazed. But I do want to test it at this stage. So in goes the power, keyboard. Because for those who don't know these, even though there's a power switch on the back, you have to switch it on with the keyboard. It's sort of like a standby switch on the back. So there's in standby. How hard is the tacky? Very. Never going to do it. I cannot see myself ever doing that. More the merrier. I've got to order a 5.2 to stay up to date. Yeah, no, I should get a 5.2. I was meant to get some with the shipment that I just got from Inertial Computing, but it wasn't in there. But I'll tell you what I did get. I got a couple of blank 5.1 boards, so I'm going to actually, just for the sake of a bit of fun in a stream, I'm going to build one. What's going on here? Okay, here's the moment of truth. I'm going to press the power button and see what happens. Why is it blinking? Why is the power button blinking? That's not normal. Power button doesn't normally blink in these, which suggests a problem. Okay, so I think we consider this board not working, which is fine. We expected that. As I say, it would have been an absolute miracle if this thing was working, given the state of it. But we just had an unusual one there, and it was blinking, and I've just not had that before. I don't think I have. I mean, I probably have, and I just don't remember it. Just having a quick look around here. What? That's not right. Whoops. What do I always say about checking other people's work? What do I always say about it? Check other people's work. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I just knocked the microphone over. That probably made some interesting noises. Oh, thank you very much. A little extra for soldering type supplies. Well, I do appreciate that, CapTech. But one of the things I mentioned in the live stream before, all donations coming in today are going towards an air conditioner for this little workshop, because we're heading into the Sydney summer, which is blazingly hot. So for people who work in the Celsius, the forecast for, well, right now it's not that bad. It's pretty good now. But the forecast for today, for tomorrow, sorry, is, I'm just going to check the weather, having a look, is where I am. I'm not close to the coast, so, I mean, I'm close to the coast compared to some things, but, so the forecast for tomorrow is 37 degrees Celsius, and it's not even summer yet. Spring! Thank you. Cap on backwards. Nah, that's right. I thought it was on backwards, but it's not. I thought this one was on backwards, but it's not. It was just a trick of the, it was just an illusion. I thought this, I couldn't see the screen printing properly. I thought the dips were on that side, but, you know. Right, so I really think the next thing to do with this, well, do I just go in and recap it all? Take all the caps off and put new ones on? May as well. Brankus Creations, recapping video, that's what I do. Right. Oh, I have that one I can test for you. Which one? Yeah, so, what to do? Well, there's a lot wrong. We've got all this nasty stuff going on here with the ROMs. We've got all this terrible corrosion on the ROM pins. Now, that needs to be cleaned away, but I do believe they're still making contact. It's probably not a bad idea, excuse me, to take the ROMs out. And I'll put them back in after it's cleaned. Oh, actually, no, I do want to clean the ROMs as well, so I might take it out. I suppose I could clean the ROM separately. It sounds like a lot of hard work. Out come the ROMs. They're labelled as a high and a low. And I think there's a high on the bottom one and a low on the top, depending on what is the top and the bottom of a board. Who knows? Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. Always remember to put the ROMs back in the right place and the right way around. I have no one in mind in particular that I'm referring to when I say that. Only someone I know recently accidentally put the ROMs in, not only swap the two ROMs around, but put them in backwards as well. We all had a little bit of a giggle about that. But it happens to all of us. I do not want to make it sound like I'm being ultra-righteous, because I tell you what, I do some terrible things. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap it. We're going to replace the caps that are on here. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I need to do, so it's not a big job. I'm going to replace these with TANTs, and then we'll do one more test, which almost definitely won't work, and then I will chuck this in the cleaner, and then I will test it later on. I will not be able to live stream that just because of the length of time. So to all them folks that were hoping they might see it today, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. But ultrasonic cleaning takes a while. It's not the cleaning itself, it's mainly the drying. It takes time before I can test it. Alright, hey, that took skill. Dear. I have no idea what brand of caps these are, whether they're like really expensive ones or really cheap ones or what. Or what. I don't know what. Here it is. Those who missed my stream last week, you notice that I've got little text up there saying what I'm doing, because last time when I did a live stream, I worked on about 3 different things throughout the live stream, so I had to keep updating the text. But we are still trying to fix an LC 550. Oh, Captech, thank you. And Justin, thank you. Goodness me. Stay cool. Thank you. I tell you what, with the incredible generosity that's been going on during this live stream, I think if I am not set up with an air conditioner by this time next week, something is seriously wrong. But, yeah, so I would say there's a very, very good chance, as I've already got a little bit put aside for it. $100. Oh, nice wiggly pad going on there. You guys didn't see that was out of camera. This guy here. Ooh. Ow. Tweezers are hot. Ow. Oh, this is... There we go. Cool. Off. Cute. Wiggly pad. And one more. Uno more capacitor needs to come off. Any chance of a video on ultrasonic cleaning? That is in the works as well. I have got so many videos to do at the moment. The script is almost entirely written for that one, the ultrasonic cleaning one. I go into quite a lot of detail on the process, talk about different types, talk about how it works. And so that is well and truly on the way. So, because I say the script is already done, so I've just got to record that and do some graphics and stuff like that, some B-roll and all those sorts of things. But it's definitely underway, and I am really looking forward to doing it, because it's, you know, I've done a lot of research on it, and I think it should be a good fun video. Whoops. And now we're going to do that wonderful old thing of adding solder just to take it away again. And I'm using solder to clean. I have to be super careful here because this pad is so precarious. It's been bent when the old one came off, I think. There's the fume extractors over here again. If the smoke looks like it's going straight up into my face. Any interest in an LC550 PCB replacement? Can you elaborate on that one, please, Alex? I mean, are you saying, like, rather than going out around and repairing this one, going in and putting a new one in? A whole new working board? Is that what you are suggesting? Hello, Alex, by the way. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, this isn't mine. This is a customer's. So, at the end of the day, if this doesn't work, that might be their only option. There is a this one is in a particularly bad way, so I may not have any luck with this. I mean, there's, you know, because there are some things I can repair, but this one has so many bad traces on it. I believe most of them are still making continuity, but we'll see. But if you have a spare, please let me know, because as I say, this customer may well be interested in going down that path if I can't get this one working. And yeah, well, time will tell. Those legs look like they have some whiskers. You have a pile of trashed LC3 logic boards. Yeah, well, the LC3 ain't really compatible with this one, because the LC3 is one of the pizza box Macs, so it doesn't have this connector on the bottom. They're very, very similar, but they've got to share a lot of the same components, but they're the boards aren't compatible. Graphics for re-gluing pads is CW2500, good up to 315. Is it? Do I have that? You said epoxy, yeah? Epoxy, okay, yeah. I can't be bothered waiting for anything to dry, so what does that tell you? I have component adhesive that I use. It's not an epoxy. It's actually it's the same stuff they use for sticking the components on these boards. It's the red stuff. It works quite well, but you've got to cure it. So you put it on, and then you've got to stick it in an oven, like, you know, I don't know, 90 degrees C or something like that for an hour. Which make of model of Flux I use? Amtech NC559V2TF. There are links to it in the description. I have used other types of flux, but I prefer this one. I just find it easier to work with. I find that it hangs around on the board longer. You know, when you hit it with heat, it doesn't stink as much, and it just obviously works very well as flux. And there is one other thing I like about it, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, it doesn't leave huge amounts of black gunk on the board, which some fluxes do too, particularly the rosin-based ones. But another nice thing about this particular flux, it's a kind of an unusual one, and that is that it responds to UV light. So when you go to clean, if you stick the board under a UV light afterwards, you can see whether the flux has been cleaned off. I'll see if I can demonstrate it here with my UV lamp. I'll turn it on. How low can I go? Is it glowing? Yeah, you can hear it's glowing. You can't see it though. Can't see it. Yeah, I'll put it on the side view. Side view. Side view. Do a bit of a zoom in. And there we go. So you can see there's the board. There's the UV, and you can see the flux glowing. See that? Wee glowy flux. So yeah, that's a really handy thing with this. When you get flux on a board, and then you go and ultrasonically clean it, you can check and make sure you get all of the flux off, because you can just stick it under a UV light. So yeah. My preferred solution. Okay, so I use an ultrasonic cleaner, and I use, again, I think the links may not be in the description, because this is something I can only get in Australia. But I use a cleaning solution called Electro, made by a company here in Australia called Cleantech. And I have to admit, I've been really, really happy with it. I tried some other stuff. I haven't tried Branson EC, only because they don't sell it out here in Australia, and it's really expensive to import, because it's a chemical. But there's one I have tried is one called what's it called? Ambersil, and I hated that. It it just did terrible stuff to the solder on the board, so I don't use that. So I use this stuff called Electro in the ultrasonic cleaner. It dilutes 5:1, and it does an amazing job. This board, it's going to be spending a fair bit of time in the ultrasonic cleaner for obvious reasons. Probably something along the lines of, maybe 15 minutes per side. And where are we? That one. Okay, so fluorescing flux, yeah. And yeah, so anyhow, the difference of how this board will look after it comes out of the ultrasonic cleaner will be chalk and cheese. But it's not going to be able to do anything about what you see here. Where's a good spot to demonstrate? I was saying some really good ones before. Yeah, so when we look here at these traces up real close, you can see all that blackening? That is basically where the copper is corroding underneath the UV mask. Now, I dropped this in the ultrasonic cleaner. It's not going to be able to do anything about that. Realistically, what I should be doing with this board is scraping off all that UV mask and then coating it on again, so trying to arrest that corrosion. Am I going to be able to do it for this board? Probably not, simply because it's just not cost effective. Way, way, way too much to do there. I would end up just scraping for half my life. But I mean, look at all this crusty gunk here, and this is crunchy stuff. I'm going to probably soak this in the ultrasonic before I switch it on, so that it's so it softens a little bit. The ultrasonic can help get it off. Okay. Right. Okay. I just have to double check because there's someone who's coming here to meet me a little bit later on. I want to make sure that I am prepped. So I want to make sure that if they send me a message saying, "Hey, I'm coming early" or something like that, I'm prepped for that. Right. So I'm going to do the 3 caps here that are different to the rest. So we'll start off with this little guy, seeing as we're pointing straight at it. Get some flux on there. Got a bit of fur on my flux there. And plonk him on there. As you can see, he's a little bit big for the spot, but I'll get him on there. Where there's a will, there's a way. Oh, I'm all tangled up. Uh-huh. Okay. And just a reminder to anyone who's doing any recapping, if they are swapping from electrolytic to tantalum, the stripe is on a different side. On electrolytics, the stripe is on the negative side. On tantalums, the stripe is on the positive side. And that is because there's some engineer out there that wanted to be a bit of a horrible person and freak us all out and do things to mess us up. Okay. These guys here, we've got two 100 microfarad 6.3 volts which are going opposite ways. I don't need the recapping guide for this because I remembered it because I've done so many of them, but if you do need the guide, recapamac.com.au, look under resources, and for this particular one, this is the LC550, you will find the guide actually under Color Classic 2 because they have exactly the same caps in exactly the same positions. They are effectively exactly the same board. So there. And if we're going to be completely honest, it's pretty underpowered. I don't want to badmouth these things, but by the time these came out, they weren't exactly a powerhouse. Oh, this is one with a wobbly pad, so I'm going to be getting the strength from the other side. Now, can I fit my little soldering iron in there? Yeah, I can. Commonly asked question I get is, what temperature do I have my soldering iron on? The answer is hot. That PCB is god-awful. It is, Alex. That is a very, very good observation. But once again, the ultrasonic, we will put our faith in the ultrasonic to maybe get this sorted. But I mean, look at it. Look at it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyone ever wondering what these things are? I've mentioned them on my live stream before. They're a fuse. They're a self-healing fuse, or a self-resetting fuse. So 47 microfarad, 16 volt. This needs to go here. Get some flux on there. And as I say, I will quickly test this after I put these new caps on, but I don't think it's going to make any difference, because I don't think the caps were the problem. Just bear with me a moment. Sorry about that. Just needed to communicate with a person. That person being my wife, who's probably thinking, live streaming again. Right. Waves at Mrs. Brankers. Right. Okay, last two caps in here, and they are going to be facing each other. 47 microfarad, 16 volt. Get rid of that hair. Which is it gone? Is it gone? I think it's gone. Two more caps. Just a reminder to people that I generally don't pull out all the caps that I need. I just pull out a couple at a time, because if I get too many out at any given stage, I put them on the counter, and then while my back is turned, the capacitor fairies steal them. Because that's what they do, because they're capacitor fairies. Right. Well, this is the last two caps here, so we are getting ready for testing. Just a reminder to folks that if anything that I'm using here, any of the equipment that I'm using, there are links in the description for pretty much everything, and for low-cost alternatives to what I use, because some of the stuff I use is a little bit on the pricey side. You know, certainly things like the microscope. You know, that's probably the most expensive item I have in here. In particular, being in Australia, I had to pay for the thing to be shipped over here from the US, and that was not cheap. One thing I don't have a link to there is a digital multimeter, which I really should have. Such an important part of what we do here. So I use a Flux multimeter, but I don't think you necessarily need to go to those links. There are some really good budget multimeters out there. All right. Yeah. So, all right, okay. So I'm just catching up on the chat there. Sorry, I've been so self-absorbed. I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of alcohol just around the sound chip here, because it was so grubby. And maybe around the CPU. I really should clean the whole thing, but I've already said that I'm going to do that later. Do you have to wonder what... Oh, I missed one. Look. Nearly forgot. Another 47. I should have remembered there are 3 on the bottom. What a duffer. Getting all excited, thought it was the end. Come on, man. There we go. All right. Oh, look at my big fat fingers. So, just going to have a quick little glance over here. That's going in the right direction. That's going in the right direction. So this is obviously the mess we cleaned up before. There's only so much we can do about all that burning that was done by the owner, but at least they can't blame me for that. Tidy up a little bit, maybe a bit of sandpaper. At the end of the day, it's going to look better than it did, but... Oh, wow. There's a bit of burning here. I didn't even notice that. Must have made some interesting smells while he was recapping this. Oh, look, there's some more up here. Get rid of that so that we can actually stick something in there if he needs to. One of the things I love about all of these boards, these LC boards, is this processor direct slot. It's processor direct slot. Hello, David. And that is because there are still so many cards available. You know, if you want to get these on a network, you can jump on eBay and you can grab an LC PDS network card because there were so many of them around. A while ago, I bought like 3 in a single go because I get so many of these LC boards. Right, so let's jump across to the side view. My quick keys aren't working, so I have to do it manually here. Side angle, there we go. Let's just zoom out a little bit because we're going to have to stick a computer up here. Now, once again, absolutely do not expect this to work, but I promised I would try it, and so I will because I'm a man of my word. And then when this doesn't work, not if, when this doesn't work, I will then pop it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I will wrap up this stream, and we will be we'll be gone good for another stream there. I may try and stream again during the week. There is a possibility that I might stream on my Friday morning, which will be the American Thursday evening. I realise that it's Thanksgiving, so probably no one will watch, or in the States, but obviously people from other parts of the world may well. Going in. There we go. Okay, board is in. Now, if this just starts flashing like it did before, I think we'll assume that that is still gone. I'm going to grab here 240 of Australia's finest volts. And I'm going to pop this in here. We'll switch him on. Now, I'm not getting the blinking light this time, so that's a little bit better than what we had before. Before that, this light here was just going blinkety blink blink. So, see what happens. Press the button. Dead as a dollar. Nothing. Now, one thing I can tell you with these Macs, when they're totally dead like this, I would be generally looking in one of 2 places. One is around the CUDA chip, or 2 is around the sound chip. I knocked the microphone over once again. Nothing. One of the things you can do with these is you can pull the board out, and then you can just shove the board in. That sometimes kind of hot wires them to start, but yeah, this ain't starting. That's stuffed. So, next step is this goes into the ultrasonic cleaner. And of course, I'm going to stop the live stream because trying to live stream while that thing's going is just, it's impossible. It's too noisy. It's too loud. It's not nice. Nobody likes it. Especially me. So out comes the board. Boy, this is a messy desk. Oh, so many bits of stuff on here. I've got a soldering iron, I've got a microphone, I've got speakers, I've got a fume extractor, I've got a multimeter, I've got a solder sucker, I've got a hot air station, I've got bench power supplies, I've got paper towel, I've got microscope. So many things, not enough space. Right. The light never came on the front. Yes, I know. So it didn't. Nothing. No, I mean, it should have. When I pressed the button on the keyboard, that light should have come on green. And generally, one of the ways you know that they're working is all of those LC, like the LC 550, 575, Color Classic, still all of those. When you press the button, they make a popping sound just before they chime. And that usually tells you the sound's good. When I hear that popping sound, it's like, yeah. So, got to clean this. Whoopsie. Got to clean this. And then I'll test it again after cleaning. And there's an improved chance of it working after that. But I'm not holding out too much hope with a board in this state. I mean, you know, look at this rust. And that's rust there. Yeah, see, that is not meant to be brown. So this and all this corrosion here, I mean, this is just terrible. This is in a pretty poor state, however it's been stored, but we will see. As usual, if you have not followed me on Facebook on the Brankus Creations page, please do so, because when I work on these things, if there are any follow-ups, I generally post them on my Facebook page. If I get them up and running, I post a little picture of them working, or sometimes I post a video of them working afterwards. So please do that if you're actually wanting to know how this one worked out. And a big thank you to everyone who has been watching. An even bigger thank you to everyone who has super chatted me today, because I tell you what, it's been coming in thick and fast today, and I do appreciate that. And once again, that is all going to be going to, all of today's donations are going to be going to the Brankus Workshop air conditioner, which I am planning to buy hopefully sooner rather than later, given how hot it is here. So thank you to everyone. I do appreciate your company. Thank you for sticking around for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I hope you all have a good morning, evening, day, whatever it happens to be at your particular part of the world. And as I say, thank you again for keeping me company. So I will press the end stream button, and then I will do that awkward moment where I have to press the confirmation, like here. Are you sure you want to end it? Yes, I am. Thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.